Hello, scholars. How are you? I hope you're well. I really miss you all. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. You're staying safe. You're staying indoors as much as possible. And you're practicing good hygiene. Okay, so let's get started for today. We are on Unit 4, and this is day 1 of Unit 4. Unit 4 it deals with the process of discovery, and we talk a lot about inventions. So our objective for today is to explore a new topic on the process of discovery and the development of inventions. Okay, have you ever had an ideal about inventing a product? Do you remember what that product was? Maybe a toy or some type of gadget that can get the work done quicker, or some type of gadget that could do your homework for you, or because I know how you guys think. You're great. You have great minds, and you're very creative thinkers. So this is what we're going to be talking about: inventing things, inventors, inventions, innovators, all of these things, all of these vocabulary words that you're going to learn. You're going to learn lots of new vocabulary words that pertain to inventions. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in activity 1 is you have a special area in activity 1 in your packet, or if you're using the lesson is online, so you'll be downloading this lesson online, and you have an area in activity 1 where you are going to jot down some of your ideals and your thoughts about inventions and discovering and the discovery process. So in this area, I want you to just sit and think about, what do you think probably goes on through this whole process from beginning to end? And one example we could probably use would be Garrett Morgan. You remember we had a discussion about Garrett Morgan, and we also he was one of the inventors that we posted on the board near our homeroom class. And for those of you who remember, Garrett Morgan was the African American man who discovered the red light, the three light system, red light. Remember, prior to Garrett Morgan's discovery, that had already been a 2-light red light signal that was discovered by someone else, a man in Europe, years before. But that 2-signal red light was not effective, because we know that it caused lots of accidents because there was not a yield sign in between the stop and go. So there were a lot of accidents happening when people were using the 2 red light signal. So Garrett Morgan came up with a solution to that, and he added a 3rd light, which was the yellow light. And we know that the yellow light means caution. So we can take that for an example, and we can think of the process that he went through. What types of things do you think Garrett Morgan went through when he thought of this 3-light signal? The first thing came to his mind was safety. And I'm sure he wanted to create something that would make it safer for both drivers and pedestrians. So what do you think maybe was the second thing he had to get started on? And how many times do you think, what did he have to do to design such a signal light? What did he have to do to test it? Or how many times do you think he had to test it? Or how did he test it? So these are types of things. This is how I want you to think when you're ready to jot down your thoughts about the discovery process and about inventors and inventions. So think about those types of things, jot them down, and we can talk about them later, okay? All right, the second thing you're going to do is you're going to read the article. The article is titled, Students Get a Chance to Learn What It Takes to Be Inventors at Virginia Summer Camp. You're going to read that article. When you read it, I want you to do some critical reading. I want you to read, of course, to understand. If there are things that you don't quite understand, I want you to use your chunking technique. I want you to stop, chunk it, and make it clear. Make it make sense to you. Okay? So read your article. If you need to read it a second time, that's quite all right. But just make sure that you get clear understanding of what the article is covering. Okay? Now, after you read your article, I want you to watch the YouTube video. That's a very interesting video, quite funny, and I think you will enjoy it. So make sure you watch the video. That too talks about the discovery process. Okay? Now, after you do those two things, at the end of that activity are 3 questions. You're going to answer those questions using your information that you have gotten from the video and also from reading the article. So you have plenty of information to help you to answer those 3 questions. Okay? When you're answering your questions, when you're writing your answers, I want good punctuation. I'm looking for good grammar. I'm looking for correct spelling. So let's please rely on those dictionaries. If for some reason we are having trouble spelling our words, let's rely on our dictionary. We're going to decode the word as best as you can and then try to find it in the dictionary. All right? But I am looking for correct spelling. So please take your time and let's try and get a good paper. Let's try and get it right. Let's try and get some, good punctuation and your grammar and your vocabulary, your words spelled correctly. Okay? So now, after those 3 things, you will move on to activity 2. Activity 2 is mostly dealing with your content vocabulary. So you're going to see a little chart or an organizer that looks similar to this. Okay? In the first column, you'll have your vocabulary word. For example, I have evaluation here. So you'll have your vocabulary word here. In the second column, you'll have how familiar are you with this word. Okay? And then it gives you 3 options to choose from, telling me how familiar you are with a particular word. The first option says, I know this word and I use it regularly. The second option says, I've heard this word, but I don't remember what it means. Okay? And the last option says, I've never heard this word. So you can choose the option here, choose one of these options, that pertain to the vocabulary word. So if you have never heard this word before, you're going to highlight option 3. If you know this word and you've used it many times before, you're going to highlight option 1. Okay? If you highlight option 3, that I never heard this word, or if you choose option 2, I've heard this word, but I don't remember what it means. If you highlight either of these two, I want you to go to the third column and I want you to type. First, I want you to look up the word in the dictionary. Then I want you to type the definition of the vocabulary word. Okay? So if you don't know the word, or if you never heard the word, you must give me a definition of your content vocabulary word. So that is how you will use this chart. This chart is in your activity 2. That is how you would use your content vocabulary chart. So I want you to take your time, read your article, have fun reading your article. Don't rush through it. I don't want you to annotate it, not at this time. We're going to annotate it later. But for this read, I just want you to read it, get a good understanding of the reading, and then watch the video, get an understanding of that. If you want to jot down some notes as you're watching the video, that is A-okay. You can do that, okay? And then take those 2 pieces of information from your video and your article and see how similar they are in explaining how inventions take place and how the process that the inventor has to go through in order to get the product finished. I want you to pay attention to how time consuming it is to get a final product. And later we're going to learn that not all inventions, I guess it's safe to say that some inventions were created to solve problems. Some inventions were created accidentally. Yeah, didn't know that, did you? Some inventions were created accidentally. So, but we're going to later see how these different types of inventions impact our society. And that means how it makes a difference in our society, a positive impact on our society. And we're going to look at that and have some discussions on that as well. So I want you to go ahead and pay attention to your article, your video, read and enjoy it. Jot down some notes as you're watching that video, because I'm really interested in knowing what things that you saw in that video that maybe you have thought about consider doing at some point in time. And when you do watch the video and come up with some things that maybe, oh yeah, this is something that I've wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to get started. But because most people who want to create an invention, they just have no idea where to start. So with watching this video and reading some of this information, that may give you ideas on how you can kickstart your invention. Okay? And remember, I'm waiting for you to create one so I can say, I told you you could do it. All right? Have fun, guys. And I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, make sure you call me if you have any questions. I'm waiting to hear from you, because I'm sitting by that phone from 8:30 to 12:30 and from 1 to 2. And I'm just waiting for somebody to call me. Okay? Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.